Hey, I'm Chris Edwards with Tennis Warehouse. I'm here with 9 times Grand Slam champion, Olympic gold medalist, Hopman Cup winner, Fed Cup winner. Am I missing anything here?
Maybe a couple things, but I don't mind this intro. Can you just follow me around and kind of introduce me to all the rooms I walk into?
Bethanie Mattek-Sands, welcome to a string review. We're going to talk about Klip Natural Gut. We've both been hitting it.
Yep.
First impressions, what did you think of the string?
So first of all, you know how attached I get to my gear, and in order for me to switch to something else, I really need to love it. So I put the Klip in while I was in Australia and felt awesome off the bat, which for me, a lot of times I feel like I have an idea of what I like in string, but the first couple balls you're making these adjustments, right? Sometimes you're missing long, sometimes it's contact point, sometimes it's how much spin you get off the first ball. But for me, Klip immediately felt awesome. It feels like a little bit stickier of a string, a little softer than the gut, the Babolat gut that I was using, the VS. And so what that kind of equated on the court was from the very beginning, I felt like there was no break-in period for this gut. I felt like the first ball, especially my backhand, right? Because I have a two-handed backhand and I generally hit it a little bit flatter. I felt like I could get so much spin and so much heaviness just on my racket face with this gut compared to all the other gut I've played with.
Yeah, I think comparing it to something like VS, which people are probably familiar with, that is a string that I think has a heavier coating. And when you get through that coating, it plays a little bit more like this.
Yeah.
But this out of the packet, I agree, you feel the gut immediately. I've got it in a hybrid with some P6, tennis only P6, and it slides back and forth nicely. I've also got it in a full set, and one of the downsides, I think, without having that coating is it gets stuck out of position. And when you've been playing hybrids or parlays, you know, you get used to not having to straighten your strings. So I'm doing that a lot. In the full bed, not at all in the hybrid. How is it holding up for you?
Oh, that's very true. So I'm playing with a poly as well. I'm playing with a blend. One we don't talk about because it's being discontinued, but it's okay. So I gotta find another poly now, now that I found a new gut. But for me, exactly like you're saying, I'd never really have to adjust the strings, and I didn't even think about that because it's been a while since I've played with a full set of gut. How is that working for the feel though? Do you feel like you're losing a little bit of that control you get with the hybrid, or do you like the feel?
So I go up in tension when I go full set of gut. So I'm going 55 pounds.
Pretty tight.
Mains and crosses, and I'm down at like 48 in the hybrid.
Okay.
But with the natural gut, I know it's going to launch that ball. It really pockets well. And so with the tighter string tension, I get a little bit of a flatter shot. I don't get the loop that I get out of it with co-poly. It doesn't like grip and then send the ball out. So I get a little bit lower launch angle, but you get that pop on the volleys, you get the pop on the serve, which is really nice and something you forget about if you haven't played with natural gut full bed in a while.
I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons even to go to a hybrid situation. I have so many players that still were playing with poly on tour, and a lot of them ended up having arm issues. That's one of the reasons I went back to a hybrid. It was a little softer on the shoulder, softer on the elbow, softer on the wrist, and it's really made a big difference. I think I've convinced a few players on tour to switch to it, but I still like that feeling of the poly gripping the ball and kind of getting that launch angle. Although with the full gut, I'm sure the volleys feel amazing. I mean, again, that was one of the main reasons why I went from a full bed of poly years ago, was the arm and was the feel at the net. But so far this Klip, I'm very impressed with it. Obviously, I haven't been playing with it long enough to know how long it lasts. Do you think it would last the entirety of a match? I mean, most pros are switching out in new balls. They generally don't finish a racket through the whole match. But what do you think for normal users? Are you finding it lasting long?
Yeah, so even in the full set where it's notching and getting stuck out of position a little bit, it's lasting me a lot. I don't grip it and rip it like the youngsters anymore, but it's lasting me plenty. And then in the hybrid, you know, it would become more of a thing where I'm losing tension with the co-poly, and that's going to make me want to cut it out. And I've got a couple of hitting sessions on the full set. I haven't broken it yet, so.
And that's a positive because it is a little bit of an investment to go into gut, but I just think if you have any shoulder, arm issues, the gut's a must to try. Obviously, if you can keep the tension down a little bit, for me, that's always helped. I think I went down, what am I at right now? I'm at 47, 42. So
And were you the
I'm
same
pretty
with
low.
the VS, or have you dropped it?
No, I kept it the same. So one of the reasons I keep it the same, because I really want to have a good idea of the feel of what I'm getting, and then I'll sort of benchmark it from there. But for me, I've kept everything the same, going over from my Babolat VS, and to me, I don't know that I would go up or down. I still like that differential in the tensions between the poly and the gut for sure, and I play tested that a lot. But I'm curious to actually hit with a full bed just for my own curiosity to see how it feels on the volleys.
Okay, well maybe we'll switch rackets for a little bit. But
All
let's,
right.
let's get out there and hit some balls.
Let's do it. If you liked this video breakdown of gear, you can find more of them on tenniswarehouse.com.
And you can also get your Klip Natural Gut right there.